I'm not going to see these two for a little while, so it's very kind of them to offer to take me out for a little bit of lunch. Let's get them in the car.
Really? Cricket frightens me. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
How are we?
How are we doing?
Welcome.
Lovely.
Thank you. Very kind of you to offer to take me out for lunch.
That's absolutely fine. Well, it's been ages, hasn't it?
Exactly. And it will be ages potentially, unfortunately.
Yes, I know. So
Where are we going?
So we're posh.
Straight out and yeah, follow the road round and we'll be all right.
All right, brilliant.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Can you two tell me what is your favourite thing about working for Microsoft?
I think you've got to go first, Paul. With your, I mean, you're,
I agree.
You're the old hand. You're the leader of the pack.
So I think the great thing about working for Microsoft is the versatility of how we can work with software companies and help software companies. If you look at the range of technology that we have available to do that, but then also the customers that we have at our disposal to amplify them into. So it's a great advantage in working for an organisation when you have that much technology and that much great technology, but also then how we can then help them go to market by amplifying them into our customer base. I think it's a very special opportunity.
What a fantastic answer! And
Can you beat that?
And how incredibly professional.
Just like you.
Do you know, I was just going to say, I'm only 8 months in, so maybe I haven't developed such an extensive knowledge of
You can't use the 8-month card anymore.
No, over 6 months.
Sure I can.
Doesn't count.
See, when you asked that question, Marianne, I was just going to say I really like the people. Working here, Microsoft, I feel in charge of my own destiny. I feel grown up, and I haven't felt grown up in probably 49 years.
Oh, that's quite nice.
Is that nice, do you think? Yeah.
Well, it's
not
quite sad.
as solid as Paul's.
No.
That was much more human.
It's from the heart.
It makes so much difference that when you get to work with people, not even necessarily people that work at Microsoft, the customers, the partner, the distributors, etc., all
Absolutely.
these people.
Yeah.
It does make so much difference. We were talking about this before, about how important it is to have a laugh, have a bit of fun. Because if your job's boring, and if you're not enjoying yourself, or for whatever it is, how dull. That's not for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I would agree.
So Paul, you were talking earlier about, so you've been at Microsoft for
About 8 years.
8 years, okay.
Yeah.
And have you worked with startups for that whole time, or have you done a couple of different things?
Yeah, no, I've done enterprise sales, I've done various bits and pieces. So I've been doing the role now for about 2 years.
Okay. And you guys call them ISVs, don't you?
Yeah, independent software vendors.
You do, okay.
I mean, they're software companies that sell to businesses, essentially.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Because ISV doesn't always land for me. Not a lot of people could call themselves an ISV. I think that terminology sometimes is really difficult because some people are absolutely, we are an ISV, this is what we do. Some people, tech company, some software company. And it's interesting if there's do you have a general standard with people that you speak to if we're an ISV, or if there's a specific identification for them?
I think we just fundamentally they're a software company at heart. So they develop software and then they sell that to customers, and it's repeatable software. So there's lots of organisations out there that develop bespoke software for companies, and the companies they make it for own it. So what we mean by software company in this context is they develop software and they sell it as a repeatable solution to their customers.
But interestingly, I think you're a partner organisation, Marianne, aren't you? You're going to increasingly come across channel partners that have got a piece of their own intellectual property, and maybe a small business within that that effectively is going to become an independent software vendor. Okay, it might not be independent straight away, but they could quite easily start to monetize that piece of intellectual property in cloud marketplaces. They could use your channel programs and go-to-market expertise together to take that to market. And I think as we become more of this software-centered world, I hear what you're saying. The term ISV can be confusing, but actually software's everywhere, and customers are going to want to consume all this software and all this intellectual property that might well be hidden behind a business today.
Completely, and I think a lot of what happens is that these software development businesses who make bespoke software for customers, for example, they find themselves doing the same thing over and over and again for a customer, and they start to think, well, hang on a second, why don't we just make this as a software and sell the software?
Yeah.
So you're exactly right, Darren. People do morph and evolve into different things, and actually the MSP market or the reseller market is full of people, as we all know, who sell infrastructure to companies and find themselves developing really neat bits of software because it makes sense for their business.
I think that's where a lot of those companies, I mean, that's a lot of the exposure that we have naturally, where that's our legacy customer base. They are SIs, managed service providers, etc., etc. It's so topical and so common now for those people to develop IP because they get it. They've seen people doing it.
Yeah.
There's no reason why, just because their typical traditional business is, say, managed services or selling laptops or whatever it is, if they've got the expertise in house, which some of those companies are seriously intelligent and have some intelligent people, it makes sense to start building stuff, because as you say, if you can monetize on it, put solutions in marketplaces, whether that be your marketplace, our marketplace, both, and more, it's such a good way of driving repeatable business. And I think the word repeatable is key in that. It's something that we want to push, those guys having a solution that is consistent, because that's how you get to marketplaces and get to all those further scale options.
I think the great thing about that, and you're exactly right, is that there's a huge channel shift underway at the moment towards digital channels or marketplaces. If you look at the research and the facts and figures out there, the reason being is that it's increasingly where our enterprise mid-market customers want to come and buy solutions, software solutions.
Yeah.
Effectively. So if you can, as a software company, put your IP on these marketplaces and reach the customer base accordingly, that's